Hi guys, welcome to a review of San Andreas. If you haven't heard of it, it's an action kind of disaster movie flick. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and there's like all these crazy earthquakes happen on the San Andreas Fault. That's why it's called San Andreas. My friends wanted to go see it, so I went and saw it with them. I wouldn't have picked that movie because I don't know, but I liked it. I was impressed. I thought it was kind of a fun action movie. I mean, there was a lot of like typical like unrealistic disaster movie type stuff. Like it was the kind of thing where it's like no major character was really like you never really felt like the threat to any major character because nothing really happened to nothing like the main characters will like fall. Like there's one scene where a main character like falls like 5 floors of a building and she survives and it's just like okay. It's a typical disaster movie. None of the major characters get killed, but you'll see like random extras just get wiped out by pieces of buildings and stuff. I mean, actually, there is a one character very early on in the movie that gets killed, but who you could argue is major, but it's so early on, and he gets so little screen time before his death that it's not really major. But basically, there's these like earthquake researchers, and they start predicting earthquakes, and they realize that all of these like well, first of all, they go to the Hoover Dam, and this earthquake happens there, and it's like what Hoover Dam earthquake? What? That's not a fault line. And then they realize that it is a fault line, and that there's going to be a bunch of earthquakes along the fault, all the way from like San Diego to San Francisco, and they're like top of the Richter scale, 9.6 earthquakes or something, biggest earth. What I liked about it is that, unlike other disaster movies, the idea of something like that happening, I mean, not so much the Hoover Dam, like the odds of there ever being a major earthquake at Hoover Dam way inland are very slim, but like the possibility of there being like a massive like 9.6 Richter scale because they don't do anything like too ridiculous like they don't like say oh it's a 27 point it's beyond the Richter scale measurement they keep it like somewhat within the realms of reality. I mean, I don't know, maybe not, I don't know. I'd have to have like I'd be interested to see from like someone who actually researches earthquakes for a living how scientifically accurate the movie is, but it seems more within the realm of possibility that like the disaster of the fault of all the earthquakes. It seems more within the realms of of like scientific possibility and accuracy than the majority of disaster movies, which is a plus because I don't know, especially since I used to live in California and I'm actually going out there this summer. It's kind of like, dang, man, imagine if I was ever there when that happened. I'm probably going to move back there at some point. So it's just kind of like, especially since I've lived there, it's kind of like, wow, it was kind of like the idea of something like that actually happening was kind of scary. But, I mean, overall, I don't think it's a movie I'd see again because it's the kind of movie it's just like, there's not much point in seeing again. I mean, there's cool effects, buildings fall, all this stuff happens, and Dwayne the Rock Johnson is, I don't know, like I've never seen Dwayne the Rock Johnson in something where I didn't. I mean, even in a like subpar movie, I've never not enjoyed his performance in something. Like even if it's like one of those crappy Disney Channel movies that he was in for a while, I've never not enjoyed his performance in something. So, like he's just a very charismatic, cool seeming dude. And I don't know, any after seeing this movie, yeah, after seeing this movie, it's like any movie with him in it can get like props, like bonus points for me. Like his presence in a movie is never going to make me not want to see a movie. Like it's always going to make me want to see the movie more, even if it doesn't completely make me want to see the movie. But yeah, there's not much to say about this movie. There's a lot of like typical disaster movie cliches, but I mean, as far as disaster movies go, I haven't seen a lot of disaster movies, but I'm sure there can be a lot worse than San Andreas. So I'd say, I mean, if you're looking for a good disaster action movie to go see this summer and you haven't already seen Age of Ultron or Mad Max or any of those other ones, I haven't seen Mad Max actually, but I've heard it's really good. Uh, I'd say go see San Andreas. It's a fun movie. I liked it. That's all. Arrivederci! Forgot to mention some stuff when I was recording this review earlier. It's kind of awkward because I recorded this like a couple days ago, and I'm like, oh wait, there's stuff I gotta say. But I forgot to mention the character of Daniel, who was or Daniel. Yeah, it was Daniel. Okay, he was kind of this pointless, like basically Dwayne the Rock Johnson wife had divorced him, or was they had. I don't think they'd signed the divorce papers yet. I'm freaking from New Jersey. No. Uh, I don't think they'd signed the divorce papers yet because there's one shot where it like zooms in on the paper, and I don't think they've been like filled out yet. But like she's like moved in with this other guy who seems pretty nice, this Daniel guy, and him and the daughter go like he takes the daughter to his work, and that's where all the earthquake stuff starts happening, and she meets this British guy, and uh, she and Daniel get trapped under a car, and Daniel manages to get out, and up until then he seemed like a nice guy, and like he was cool and stuff, and then it was really strange. Like he went outside. He's like security. He grabbed a security guard. He's like, guard, my daughter is stuck in there. And then this pile of rocks falls, and everybody freaks out. And then they look up, and the guard's been like completely smashed by rocks. And so Daniel just runs off. And then the British guy goes to help her, I guess, because she thought she was attractive. I don't know. It's still kind of interesting that he'd only met her once and he didn't help her, but Daniel ran off. And I mean, he did ask the guard to help her, but after he saw the rocks crush on the guard, he just ran off. And I thought maybe they were going to do something else with that character, but I don't know. It's just a weird, like, why even have that character? I mean, he was important to the plot at first because he got the, like, without him the girl character would not have been at the right location to be like trapped separate from her dad. And but they had to do like this dumb obligatory thing where, oh yeah, dad and mom divorced because of tragic daughter death, blah blah blah. We've seen it, not to discredit death, but like we've seen it before. Like I've seen it before, and I haven't even seen that many movies, but I've seen that like trope before. But it's weird because they use it, and literally, like, as soon as the disaster starts, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he goes and rescues his ex-wife. They get a call from the daughter saying that Daniel left the daughter. The mom leaves him an angry message, and then we see him again twice. Once when he's running away, when he's in a crowd walking away, and then an earthquake happens, and he pushes some guy who's up against the wall out of the way and gets up against the wall, and then the guy he pushed out of the way gets like killed. And then later again he's on a bridge and he gets killed. I probably should have said spoiler warning, but let's be honest, who cares? It's a disaster movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and I'm talking about a minor character who honestly shouldn't even have been in the movie. Like, he was only there to like cause conflict in the beginning, which we didn't need. It's a disaster movie. Why do we need the conflict? I mean, well, why do we need that conflict in particular? Like, it's like they had to throw in the obligatory douchebag boyfriend of the ex-wife of the main character, which he wasn't even that douchey though. Like until the earthquake hit, he was a nice guy. Like he didn't seem like a douche at all. So they didn't even succeed on that front. So yeah, I didn't like that. Also, they had an obligatory kid character who was with the daughter, and the daughter who's like 19 or 20 or something, so she wasn't a kid. But like the British guy and the daughter, the British guy had a younger brother who was that obligatory obnoxious kid in every movie, except for he wasn't that obnoxious. He wasn't that obnoxious, so he was tolerable. Like really, that was the only thing I didn't really like, that I really didn't like about the movie was the inclusion of the Dano character. The Dano character does die in like the second scene that he's in after the disaster starts, but it's so pointless. It's like a quick thing. It's like Not only did they throw in this unnecessary character to cause unnecessary conflict, but they didn't even do the conflict right. Stupid. Whatever, that's all. Arrivederci!